Hey everyone, welcome back to this YouTube channel. If you already haven't subscribed, definitely do. I'm going to show you a few days worth of trade recaps that I've sent out to our signals group. In this case, it'll be Friday's trades and today's trades Mondays. Friday was NFP. There was a little bit of confusion in the market, and I'm just going to kind of show you how I walked through it. And just before we get going, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. Just before we get going on GU, actually, too, the trades that I got to go, I'm going to show you my euro loss I took as well. And I'll show you how that went out over. So, being totally transparent with you guys, I sold euro here on Friday. So the first idea here was to just kind of ride this trend line and continue with the sells. Price invalidated our trend line. I knew that if price came above this price line, that these sells were kind of less likely to work out. I'm going to explain why NFP went up too, considering how US dollar bullish the fundamentals came out. And you have to go back to where the story starts. The story starts with, why did price stop here? What caused price to reverse? So just to explain that, so by the way, euro was a loss. I had to change my bias from sells to buys. The story is we had a gap here. These DXY gaps are orders that are not filled. This particular gap was created by ISM, meaning there is a large injection of liquidity in this gap. When these gaps get filled, they are very likely to produce a reaction. So let's say you were in a short from somewhere up here, this gap would be a good place to close. In my experience, these gaps have the power to reverse something. So the first thing I want to explain, by the way, this DXY chart is inverted. So the actual chart usually looks like this. I inverted the chart colors and inverted the actual chart, so it's easier to compare to euro and GU. First question everyone's asking is, why did price just not do this and continue down? So this was my first bias on GU and on euro. Like I said, I lost the euro trade. I'm going to explain to you why I ended up buying GU instead of euro after too. The thing you have to understand is what happened here. This, on a larger scale, essentially is institutions taking orders. And you can tell these are institutional orders because they're all bearish candles. These are vector candles. These are all continuous imbalance. Only institutions can create that. This would be some institutions pricing in NFP a day early. So basically, rather than price doing this and just waiting for NFP and going down further, price took out a level of liquidity and just kind of melted. So with that being said, NFP was priced in. How is it priced in? If you measure this range, compare it to this range, we pretty much went, we pretty much moved the day before as much as we did at NFP. So what that to me says, we're priced in. Again, usually anytime there's vector candles involved, it is institutions. So this is a large player moving the market. But yeah, let's go over to the GU trades. This is where the story starts. DXY fills a gap. So we'll just go back to GU. All right. So Same idea on GU as Euro. I picked Euro because it had more of a run to the downside. So same thing with GU here. The reason I bought GU instead of Euro is it actually invalidated this point a lot quicker than Euro did. So GU kind of invalidated the trend line here. So to me, if this gets invalidated, sells are no longer a viable option. Even the fact that this happened was already making me wonder if price is indeed maybe not doing what I think it's doing. And here, now if we go and start reading order flow, we took out the high. So probably could have started buying here. I waited a little bit longer. And essentially for me, I just wait for a pullback and a break. So for me, this is kind of the vectors that broke out of the range. So this to me officially confirms that these lows are now protected. And the initial target was the NFP high. However, going back to our earlier conversation about gaps, we have this gap here. This is Fusion Markets chart, by the way. It's the broker I use. Fusion seems to show these gaps a lot more often than Oanda does, and they seem to be very reactive. So I keep an eye on these gaps because it'll tell me where the market can react. It's good for managing. The first trade was taken as soon as this high was taken out. So with that in mind, so pretty much execute one here, cover something down here. I don't need to cover everything down here because to me, if price wants to come test, this is showing me that there's momentum. If we look, vectors, 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 that's 3 sets of vectors in a row. So the expectation here now is for the lows to not get broken. To me, this is not likely going to get broken. If it does, price can test anywhere in this whole range. That's too big of a stop for me to cover. I'd sooner take this loss and basically look for a re-entry anywhere down here, as it makes no sense risk reward wise to cover all this when we're only targeting that. It's just not there. Whereas if we now go to this, now the targeting's a bit better. With something like this, you can basically just expect price to continuing up, and as long as it's showing you that, you can just basically keep stacking. So we stacked another one here. I believe this guy here, I only covered the vectors. Again, same thing, if these vectors fail, expecting price to come test somewhere down here. I don't need to cover anything under or anything over. I'm not one for small stops. I don't get them often, but this is about average for GU anyway. This is it. So price pretty much just did nothing. It did come close, but you can see the vectors were respected. This set of vectors respected. And ultimately, order flow is just going up. Because price didn't aggressively move here faster, I ended up closing this a bit early. So this set of trades ended up getting closed. So I actually held a bit longer than I'd like to. But we closed at this gap. So this one ended up being 2.27. This one ended up being 2.76. So it yielded about 5R. We took a hit on Euro. So you're still up 4R on the day. That was the ideas behind Friday's trades. And I'm going to show you what happens for those of you that don't trade GU. Had I just broken even on these and went for the high, let's pretend that I broke even on both of these and decided to hold over the weekend. just to show you guys what happened. So the top position is now break even plus swap fees. And then basically the bottom position, I believe, would keep me in and would have hit TP. So now if we do the math on that, I would have got 3.5R instead of the 5R combined. So I was further ahead closing the two positions at the gap. Also, I've had it happen where price gaps down like intensely and takes both these positions out. So it's sometimes you're just better off taking what's there. So that was the idea on GU's trades. Let's do a recap on Euros trades today. And ultimately, today was a bit tough to read. I'm not a huge fan of today's price action. So my initial thought was actually that build-up was going to get formulated. So for those of you that don't know what build-up is, I need 1, 2, 3. So 3 lows, 3 highs. The expectation is now the highs would be protected. So if we we're not counting this one, by the way. I'm starting my count here. I need them in a row. So for me to be able to use the first one, price would have had to do something along the lines of taking this out, respecting the high, taking this out. So because that didn't happen, we just started counting build up within our internal structure. So you could see high, low, price needs to do one of two things. Either it respects this high or we blow through it. If we blow through it, we just buy it. We can go on the lower time frame here, and I'll just kind of show you how this one worked out. So we're looking for this point to get either broken or show us that it's holding. If this high holds, the chances are buildup could get created. Is the sell a high probability sell? In a way, it wouldn't be a bad sell if it started showing you ranges down. I would anticipate the third low getting created. If you want it to be high probability, you would wait for the third low to get created and then get in. Of course, the price can just run on you. That's just the perks of being in the market. I'll explain this too. So my initial TP was the liquidity here. So essentially we just go down to the lower time frames. This is kind of a lower time order flow day. You can see none of the lows are breaking. We just need a confirmation that price indeed wants to go up, and pretty much this break was that confirmation. Pretty much this wick invalidated it for me. That's enough for me to execute. So this was trade 1. Trade 2 came later. What time did trade 2 come? Trade 2 actually came during New York lunch, which can be a bit of a sketchy area to take a trade, but as long as you understand what price is doing. So same thing, right? Build up targets. So we have lower time frame order flow, build up targets. We take out a level of liquidity. We can buy this. Because once build up takes out an external, it now becomes the target. So I actually ended up buying this on the vectors, the pullback and the break. Pretty simple. Not much to it. I did end up closing these trades out in an hour from now because I'll show you why. So this was my targeting. So for my management rules, I don't really care if DXY or Euro hits TP first. So for me, I just closed on the first body through DXY. It ended up hitting TP first. It definitely, you lose some R's doing it this way, but I've also had DXY reverse price and me not be able to figure out why. So just to kind of show you where we closed. So we closed around 10:30. So I think we closed 10:30. So we closed here. So it ended up being, what is it, 2.97, 3.4. We did get a break even. We did take a loss earlier as well. So this one's what I would say this turned out to be roughly a 4 or 5 hour day or something after the break evens, the commissions, the loss, maybe 5.5 or something. I don't know, somewhere in there. Not really relevant. Well in profit for the day anyway. So in this particular case, price did end up hitting TP. Some of you are probably like, you should have just held the TP. I've traded the system for a long time, and in my experience, I've had price reverse here lots. DXY just has more power than the pair you're trading. So I use it for management. It's good for that. It's good for explaining reactions. So this is kind of the thought process behind Friday's trades and Monday's trades. It's pretty clear. Both of these were kind of tougher to read, I'm not gonna lie. Friday threw me for a loop. So Friday we actually sold euro down here, like I told you guys. Again, once I knew the sells weren't working out, we had to adapt. And yeah, today was something similar. It was hard to read. The market could have did either, so you almost just have to wait for it to either respect the level or break a level. And yeah, so we came out on top both days. Both days had losses. Today had loss and break even. It's part of trading. It happens, but that's why we manage risk. Overall, a good 2 days. Our signals group's likely pretty happy, and they're in profit as well. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed these recaps. I will continue making at least one a week just to show you some of the trades we're sending out to our group and explain why we're taking some of these trades. Yeah, hope you guys got some value out of this. I will see you in the next one.